بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. These days are the days of Shahadat of Hazrat Zahra Salamullah alayha. Inshallah, all our majlises and azadas will be accepted by Allah. I remember last year, this time of the year, we had lots of gatherings and I'm really missing them. Inshallah, the problem of this coronavirus goes away from all around the world soon, and we can all gather together again. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والعصر. Again, Surah Asr, Allah starts by making oath, making qasam. Allah is saying, so I swear by the time. Asr means time. And we said when we start with Wav, it means that Allah is saying, I swear by that. For example, Wal Asr, I swear by the time. And time can be a period of time, period of life. Okay, generally it can mean time of our life, according to following ayats of the surah. Inna al-insana lafi khusr. Inna is for emphasizing in Arabic grammar. And la fi khusr. La is again for emphasizing. So Allah is using to emphasize in this ayat. And in fact, the ayat second is the answer of qasam, the answer of oath. We said that Allah, whenever in every surah, Allah is making oath by something, like our normal conversation, He wants to emphasize on something. And Allah has used qasam, and in reply of qasam, in what He wants to emphasize on it, again, He uses two types of emphasize in Arabic grammar. Inna means verily. Innal insana, verily the mankind, la, definite, is in loss. Khusr means loss. But when in English we say loss, we don't have different words for loss of, for example, benefits or loss of the original investment. But in Arabic, as Arabic language is very complete, is more complete than other language, when we say khusr is different, which kind of loss. I bring an example. For example, in English, when we invest some money for a business, when we say loss of business, it can be from the benefits. For example, we didn't make enough benefits, so we lost benefits. And it can be from the original money we had invested. But in Arabic, when we say khusr, is especially related to when we lose the original investment. It's loss of original investment. So it is different. There is difference between khusr and zarar in Arabic. So when we say Allah is saying, verily mankind is in loss, what does it mean? We said before that always there is relationship between oath and the reply of oath. or what Allah is emphasizing on that. Here Allah made out by what? By Asr. Asr is time, the period of our life. So when Allah is saying Inna al-insana lafi khusr, it means that man is losing lifetime, is losing hours, minutes and seconds of life. Imagine when we come to this world, when mankind is born, he will be blessed by a specific time of life. He will be blessed with a certain share of life. We call it, this is what now I explain, is not about exactly Surah Asr. I just want to make it clear for you. When we says, for example, maybe you have heard in Farsi, we say Ajal Musamma. I don't know if you have got in Urdu or not. Ajal Musamma means appointed term of life. When somebody is born, he has been blessed by an appointed term of life. For example, somebody Allah has blessed him with, for example, 80 years of life, or another person is blessed by, for example, 120 years of life. One person is blessed with shorter life. We call it as appointed term of life. The rule of life is that Allah has set it like this, that this is the maximum life Allah has set for us, okay? For example, Allah has set appointed term of life or certain share of life for this person is 80 years. This is but the person can change it under this limitation. What does it mean? For example, we say that respecting parents increases life. How much does it increase? It means that increase life under this limitation. For example, somebody has been blessed by 90 years of life, okay? But he can reduce it. How? For example, by doing sins, by not respecting parents, by or for example, we say Saleh Rahim, we say meeting families, meeting relatives increases life. By stopping relationship with relatives, it can decrease the life. So we have heard that if person does less sin in his life, he will have longer life. So we can we can change the length of our life by the way we live, but the maximum of life which Allah has blessed us with this, that is not changeable. That is we cannot change that. These are not part of Surah Asr. I'm just explaining for us to make more sense from Surah Asr. So when Allah is saying Innal insana lafi khusr, it means that every second of our life which is going, we are losing it. We are losing from benefit? No, we are using from the original investment, because our life is our original investment. So it is a bigger loss. When we invest in something, if we lose from benefits, okay, we say, okay, we can cover it, we can recover it later. But if we lose from the original money we have invested, it's a big loss. For life, is the same way. When we spend our life, it means that we are losing it. And that is normal. But Allah in ayat number 3, Allah is saying, إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا. Illa means except. So Allah bring an exception. Except those, الَّذِينَ, those who آمَنوا, who believe, وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ, and do good things. وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. So there is an exception. For example, we say that, okay, we celebrate our birthday every year. If we are not part of this exception, in fact, we shouldn't celebrate it because we have lost 1 year of our life. We have lost 1 year of our investment of life. So why should we celebrate it as our birthday? But if we are part of ayat number 3, الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات, who they did good, who they believed and did good things, then yes, we can celebrate it because we haven't lost it. It's not khusran. Yeah. For example, when we say, thank you, Masuma. Did you change the background?
No, I didn't.
No? Oh, so the computer itself. Has the background changed for you as well?
Yes, changed.
Okay.
Mashallah, you're doing the class from a very exotic looking location.
Okay, so it means that if we haven't used our life as a believer and doing good things, it's khusran. Khusran means losing. But if we have spent our life in Sister Alavi did this. Thank you. But if we have spent our life with belief and doing good things, then it's not khusran, it's an exception. Okay, let's see what does it mean. Look, sometimes maybe we are believers, but we are wasting our life. Okay, a person is not kafir, but he's wasting his life. He hasn't added anything by doing good things. So this is a loss. Then after that, Allah is saying, إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ. Between all these good things, Allah specifically mentions two actions. وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ. Tawasaw comes from the root of wasaya. Tawasaw is different from advising. Sometimes we say in some translations, maybe you see that except those who believe, go righteous thing, and they advise each other to write, to haq, and advises each other to be patient. But in fact, the exact meaning is not that. The exact meaning, but it comes as tawasi. Tawasi, we said that when the root in Arabic grammars, the root of the verb takes different shapes, the meaning changes. So tawasi means accepting advice. It's not advising, it's advising itself. Tawasi means that those who accepting advice to write things and accepting advice to be patient. So it means that when we see each other going away from right paths, or we are not patient, it means that advise each other. Because if but why Allah is saying tawasaw, accepting? Because if there are not people, those who accept advice, what's the use of advising? If nobody accepts when we advise them, they don't accept each other advice, what's the use of advising? So that is very important to accept advice. Another point of this ayat is that if we want to accept advice from others, who are the first priorities to advise us? Definitely Allah, prophets, Ahl al-Bayt, right teachers, Salihin, yeah, all those are the first priorities who we should accept their advice. So this is one point that mankind is in loss, is losing the investment of his life if he is not part of Amanu wa Amilu Salihat, part of believers and doing right things, and who they don't accept advice. For example, when Allah has advised us as Sharia, okay, these are Islamic laws, you should act like this. If we don't accept that advice, it means we are losing, according to Surah Asr. Sometimes we don't know what is haqq, okay? But if somebody guides us towards haqq, we accept it. So we are part of Tawasaw bil haqq, who they accept it. But sometimes no, the person doesn't want to accept advice. That is those people who they are not part of Tawasaw bil haqq. Another point is that إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ. Always in ayats of Quran, this آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ, we have seen in many ayats of Quran, they come together. آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ. It means belief and doing right things are together. It means faith and righteous deeds are both together are the condition of salvation. We can't say, oh, we are believers, we have got faith, but the way when we act, our actions is not according to our beliefs or not according to Sharia. So then we have got amanu, apparently, but we don't have amalus salihat. When these two, they don't come together, it's not accepted. We will be, God forbidden, part of people who they are in loss, in khusran. And when Allah is saying, Innal insana lafi khusr, fi khusr means sinking in khusr. It means that deep going in loss. Allah doesn't say that they lose. Allah is saying they are in loss. If we go according to tadabbur, ayat after another ayat, or sentence another after sentence, when Allah is saying إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ, after that he says تَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ, means these two تَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ guarantees our iman, our faith, and our actions. So there is direct connection. And iman, amanu wa amalu salihat, themselves are in direct relationship together. It means that faith and repetitive action have a direct effect on each other. How? For example, I've said this before, I've explained this before, that we can't inject iman to our kids. Yeah, we can't say that, for bringing our kids up according to Islamic law, we can't inject iman to them. But what we can do is that from childhood, we make them act according to Sharia. And when these two, iman, belief, faith, and acting, they have a direct effect on each other, even about ourselves. If we act, for example, if we are so careful to recite our namaz exactly according to the way Sharia says, then that increases our faith. When our faith increases, we try to act more according to Sharia. So we see that these they have got direct relationship together. For our kids, for our children, is the same. If we make them act, we can't inject faith to them. But if from childhood we make them act according to Sharia. For example, everything step by step, okay, these are the rules of hijab, these are the rules of praying, these are the, when we bring them up like that, then the faith, because according to the Quran, it's not from us. Allah is saying, Amanu wa amilu salihat. These two, they have got direct effect on each other. So then the faith goes high in them. So this is one of it. This is not again part of Surah Asr, but this is just a key in Islamic psychology to how to bring up our children according to Islam, because we can't inject Iman to them, but we can make them act according to Sharia from childhood. So if we don't accept advice from each other, if we go reverse now from ayat, if we don't accept advice from each other to what is haq, what is right and what is wrong, and batawasaw bis-sabr, if we don't accept advice from each other for being patient, then it affects amanu wa amalu salat. It will affect our belief. We can't say we are believers because beliefs is on its own is not enough. So it is so important that Allah is bringing these ayats the way one after another in Surah Asr, because according to Surah Tadabbur, we said that when we speak as a normal person, we don't bring sentences which are not related together. How Allah, as who is more wise, the most wise, we can say the ayats and the words one after another, there is no target for it, there is no goal for it. So when Allah is saying in wal asr, so Allah wants to say that by making us to the life which is passing, because we can see life is going, time is not stopped, life is going, we can see we are getting old, children they grown up, so we can see it clearly. So Allah, by making us to asr, to time, to the passing of the time, is emphasizing in the rule of khusran, that he wants to motivate us that, oh mankind, the way of salvation is amanu wa amilu salihat, is believe, faith, and acting according to faith and not acting. And two specific things which can guarantee your belief and acts is tawasaw bil haq wa tawasaw bis sabr. Because if we, in that case, when we know how important it is, when we see each other, we are going away from the right path, we advise each other. So if it becomes a culture that we accept advice from each other, as soon as we divert from the right path, we can come back to the right path. And another point, which is again not part of Surah Asr, but just in bracket I say that we know that repeating everything, anything, makes us familiar with it, brings familiarity. For example, if we live in a house, we get familiar with it. If we see a person repeatedly, we get familiar with it. So it is like that, that acting, if we repeat acting according to the rule of Sharia, we get familiar with it. That's why it's advised that keep reciting Quran daily, or keep sending salam to Imam Hussein alayhi salam daily. So it makes us familiar with Quran. It makes us familiar with Ahlul Bayt this way. So in fact, in Surah Asr, Allah is giving another key to us, that accept advice and advice to haqq, and towards be patient. See how important is to being patient. How important it is that Allah specifically has mentioned these two between all amal salihat. He could say that إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمَلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ, for example, do something else, bringing another thing as an example. But when Allah brings tawasaw bil haqq wa tawasaw bis sabr, it means that's the key for us. Because every surah of Quran is guiding us towards salvation by giving us a key. And Surah Asr is saying that be careful, time is going, you are losing, not the benefits of part, not from you are losing, not from the benefit of your investment, from the main investment. I've brought this example before, if you remember. I said that, for example, imagine a person who is selling ice. There is a story that one of the ulamas in Iran, he was selling ice. Then once the people saw him that he was sitting next to his ice and he was crying loudly. They asked him, "Why are you crying?" He said, "Because I can see the ice." Because before they used to sell ice as ice cubes. Maybe you have seen in Pakistan or in Iran, it was like this. They would put ice cubes beside the street and they would sell it. He was crying that I can see the ice which I brought for sale, they are melting. So I'm using from the original part of my investment. If these cubes of ices will be melted, I've lost all my money. I don't have anything to invest and earn. So life is like that. When we get every minute of our life passes, it means that we have lost it. But if we have used it according to إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمَلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ, it means we have gained something more valuable. So it's not a loss, because خُسْرَانَ لَفِي خُسْرٍ, after that has got an exception. For example, if God forbid and somebody is not well, has got an illness, if he spends money for his treatment to gain health, that money is not lost because he has spent it to gain health, something more valuable. That's not lost. For life is the same. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil farajahum. Okay, Masma, would you please stop the recording? So if there is any question, we will answer.